Is it possible that a concert tour, one that, in the public eye, looks merely like a series of dates, stadiums, and minimalist posters, is in fact the culmination of a global strategy designed over many years, involving cultural power, mass psychology, and one name deliberately placed at the center of world entertainment history, Jungkook? The question sounds excessive, even sensational. Yet that is precisely where the strangeness lies. Because when a poster titled BTS World Tour quietly circulated on Platform X through the Turkish fanbase account at Bangtanboys the world was not simply witnessing a tour announcement. Unknowingly, the world was being shown the final outcome of a plan far greater than a simple K-pop group comeback. The poster looked simple: a clean white background, bold red accents, and the names of the 7 BTS members: RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, written like hand-drawn scribbles, as if emphasizing intimacy and sincerity. Yet for those accustomed to reading symbols, this design was precisely what raised suspicion. Why such minimalism for a tour predicted to become one of the largest in modern music history? Why emphasize a personal touch in a project of almost unimaginable scale? And why, behind all those names, did the global spotlight slowly but surely narrow once again onto a single figure, Jungkook? The BTS 2026 to 2027 World Tour was announced to cover 34 cities across multiple continents, with a total of 81 performances. These numbers are not mere statistics. They are signals of power. The schedule begins in April 2026 in Goyang, South Korea, moves on to Tokyo, crosses the Pacific to the United States, continues through Latin America, Europe, Southeast Asia, and Australia, before closing in Hong Kong in March 2027. Every date appears to be designed with military precision, every city chosen not only for stadium capacity, but for the geopolitical and cultural meaning attached to it. And among all of this, the string of cities in the United States stands as the main axis of the global narrative. Tampa, El Paso, Stanford, Las Vegas, East Rutherford, Foxborough, Baltimore, Arlington, Chicago, and Los Angeles are not random choices. They form a map of Western entertainment industry power. Giant stadiums that have long symbolized the dominance of American artists are once again becoming arenas of trial for a group from South Korea. Yet there is one detail rarely discussed openly. This tour is not only about BTS as a group, but about how Jungkook is positioned as the face most capable of breaking through the final wall of the global market. After a long hiatus due to military obligations, a BTS comeback was always destined to be a major event. But the scale of the reaction to this poster felt different. Comments like "BTS is coming" flooded timelines, wild speculation emerged, and global ARMY euphoria erupted even before a single ticket was announced. This phenomenon raises an intriguing academic question. Why does this anticipation feel more intense than previous comebacks? What has changed? The answer, when traced more deeply, points to a figure who rarely appears in front of the camera yet holds full control behind the scenes. Bang Si-hyuk. Bang Si-hyuk, the founder of HYB, is not merely a music producer. He is a cultural architect. In the global entertainment industry, he is known as someone who thinks in decades, not album cycles. The Ararang Tour, a term that has begun circulating among internal circles and fanbases as a symbol of BTS's return to the world stage, is not simply a concert series, but a global-scale social experiment. And within this experiment, Jungkook appears not as just one variable, but as the center of gravity. Why Jungkook? The question is often asked, yet rarely answered honestly. Vocally, he is indeed powerful. Visually, he meets global standards. But the decisive factor lies in his ability to bridge cultures. Jungkook is a figure accepted by Western markets not as a foreign idol, but as a universal pop star. Streaming data, national image surveys, and Western media responses over recent years consistently show one pattern. Jungkook possesses a level of resonance that transcends the K-pop label. This is where Bang Si-hyuk's strategy becomes visible. By restoring BTS as a complete group, he ensures that ARMY's emotional foundation remains solid. Yet by choosing the largest stadiums in the United States as the tour's focal points, he simultaneously creates a massive stage for Jungkook to emerge as a symbol of a new form of dominance. This is not an attempt to split the group, but to strengthen the collective narrative through one central figure capable of capturing the attention of a far broader world. The tour poster also states that more cities will be announced for 2027, including additional dates in Japan, the Middle East, and other regions. For strategic observers, this line is not mere supplementary information. It is a clue, a signal that what has been announced so far is only the first phase, that what appears on the surface is merely the shadow of a much larger plan, and that Jungkook once again will most likely become the spearhead of that expansion. For Indonesian Army, the announcement of concerts in Jakarta on December 26 to 27, 2026, carries a distinct emotional weight. After years of waiting, Indonesia has returned to BTS's grand map. Yet behind the euphoria, another awareness is slowly growing. This concert is not only a gift to fans, but part of a global narrative being constructed. A narrative about how an Asian group, through strategies that are nearly unreadable, challenges and seizes the symbols of Western cultural dominance. This is not about grand stages or fireworks. It is about subtle signals, a poster that appears simple, a schedule arranged with precision, and one name that continues to surface in every deep analysis. Jungkook was not placed at the center of this storm by coincidence, and Hyuk never moves without reason. The question has now shifted. It is no longer whether BTS will break records, nor whether stadiums across the United States will sell out. The far more unsettling question is this: when the Arirang Tour finally unfolds and the world watches Jungkook standing at the center of America's largest stadiums, will the public realize that this moment was designed long before that white and red poster ever appeared on their timelines? And if the answer is no, then the strategy has already succeeded, even before the first stage lights are turned on. This is where Hyuk's strategy becomes increasingly clear, and at the same time increasingly unsettling for those accustomed to seeing K-pop as a peripheral phenomenon. The question is simple yet sharp. Why are so many of the largest stadiums in the United States placed consecutively within a single tour? And why does Jungkook appear to be the emotional of that sequence? Tampa, El Paso, Stanford, Las Vegas, East Rutherford, Foxborough, Baltimore, Arlington, Chicago, and Los Angeles are not merely major cities. They are symbolic nodes of the American music industry. This is where rock, pop, and hip-hop legends have asserted their dominance for decades. By choosing these stadiums, BTS is not simply holding concerts. They are entering a symbolic space that has long been the exclusive domain of the West. What is even more striking is how media narratives and public conversation have gradually shifted, from BTS's back to Jungkook and the American stadiums. This shift in focus does not happen by chance. In every major BTS cycle, there is always a moment when one member becomes the most easily accepted representative for the global market. In the Arirang Tour era, that role once again falls to Jungkook. He is not only the main vocalist, he is a bridge. In the American context, Jungkook is perceived not as a collective Asian symbol, but as an individual with universal pop appeal. And Hyuk, who understands market psychology better than most Western music executives, exploits this perception with almost clinical precision. The tour schedule reveals a compelling pattern. After Asia and Japan, BTS leaps directly to the United States, as if to declare that their return requires no lengthy warm-up. They arrive not as challengers but as an established force. This is where Jungkook becomes crucial. Global streaming data over the past few years has shown that Jungkook's solo songs possess extraordinary staying power in the American market. The name Jungkook has become an entry point for audiences who may not fully follow BTS as a group. Hyuk reads this data not as a source of pride, but as a strategic opportunity. Yet this strategy is not only about numbers. There is a deliberately constructed emotional dimension. America's massive stadiums are not merely about audience capacity, but about visual power. When cameras capture seas of people in Los Angeles or New Jersey, those images will circulate across the world. And at the center of those images, Jungkook will stand as the representation of a new generation of global stars. No longer a Korean idol who succeeded in America, but a world star who happens to come from Korea. This is where the Arirang Tour changes meaning. It is not merely a post-military comeback. It is a statement, a declaration that BTS is no longer playing in an arena defined by the West, but creating an arena of their own. Bang Si-hyuk understands that cultural dominance is not announced through press conferences, but through visual and emotional repetition. Stadium by stadium, city by city, Jungkook is placed in the same context as American pop icons until the comparison becomes unavoidable. The reaction of Global Army to the tour announcement reinforces this narrative. The explosion of euphoria on social media is not only about BTS's return, but about the feeling of participating in a historical moment. The comments that emerge reveal a collective awareness that this tour is different, that something bigger is unfolding. And even if not all fans can articulate it, there is a shared intuition that Jungkook is being pushed to the center of the global stage in a way never seen before. Latin America, which follows in the tour schedule with cities such as Mexico City, Bogotá, Lima, Santiago, Buenos Aires, and São Paulo, strengthens this strategy. The region is known for its emotionally intense and fiercely loyal fan bases. By placing Jungkook before packed stadiums in Latin America after the United States run, Bang Si-hyuk creates a global echo effect. The narrative of dominance does not stop in one region, but resonates across continents. What is striking is that all of this is done without explicit statements. There are no interviews declaring, "Jungkook is our main weapon." No slogans proclaiming the conquest of America. Everything is communicated through tour structure, city sequencing, and stage visuals that will eventually be seen by billions of eyes. This is the power of a silent strategy. By the time the public begins to realize what is happening, the narrative has already taken root. Behind the scenes, the Arirang Tour also functions as a psychological experiment. How will American audiences react to BTS after the hiatus? How does Jungkook, as the most easily identifiable figure, shape that perception? Bang Si-hyuk is not only collecting financial returns, but cultural data. Every concert, every trending topic, every media headline becomes part of the larger map he is constructing. So when many people see this tour schedule as nothing more than good news, few realize that the United States is being used as a mirror to measure how far the center of global cultural power has shifted. And within that reflection, Jungkook's silhouette grows clearer, larger, and increasingly impossible to ignore. This second chapter closes with one crucial realization. The Arirang Tour is not about conquering America for America's sake. It is about proving that global cultural dominance is no longer one-directional. And if this experiment succeeds, if American stadiums become witnesses to collective euphoria led by Jungkook, then the music world will have to accept a new reality. The question now becomes sharper and more uncomfortable. If America itself can become a stage for this strategy, what will happen when the Arirang Tour reaches Southeast Asia, Australia, and finally returns to East Asia? Is this merely the peak of a comeback? Or the beginning of a new phase of global cultural power that has yet to be fully understood? What if the greatest power of the Arirang Tour does not lie in stage technology, stadium scale, or ticket sales figures, but in something far more difficult to measure? Deliberately directed collective emotion. This question becomes the key to understanding the final phase of Bang Si-hyuk's strategy, a phase whose impact is only truly felt when the world realizes that what it is witnessing is not merely a concert, but a cultural event designed to leave a long-term imprint. After the United States and Latin America, the tour moves toward Southeast Asia, Australia, and finally returns to East Asia. These regions have different audience characteristics, yet share one striking commonality: an exceptionally strong emotional bond with BTS, and especially with Jungkook. Jakarta, Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, as well as Sydney and Melbourne, are not just points on a tour map, but emotional spaces where the BTS narrative has grown for years. Bang Si-hyuk understands that here, emotion does not need to be created, it only needs to be directed. The concert in Jakarta at the end of December 2026 becomes the clearest example. For Indonesian Army, this is not simply an end-of-year concert, but a symbolic event in which loyalty is finally rewarded. When Jungkook stands on stage and greets tens of thousands of fans who have waited for years, that moment will be recorded, shared, and reconsumed by the world. And it is there that emotional power transforms into a narrative weapon. The world will see not just a crowd, but expressions of love, tears, and a collective identity attached to a single name. Australia and Hong Kong, as the tour's closing chapters, add another layer of meaning. These are regions situated at the intersection of East and West. By placing the end of the Arirang Tour there, Bang Si-hyuk seems to underscore a final message, that this journey is not about going to the West and then returning, but about creating a global circle in which the center is no longer singular. Jungkook, in this context, becomes a symbol of a new generation of stars not bound by geographic or cultural borders. What makes this strategy feel startling is how quietly it is executed. There is no manifesto, no explicit claim of changing the music world. Yet it is precisely in this silence that the impact becomes stronger. International media will write about records, industry analysts will discuss numbers, and fans will remember emotional moments. But beneath all of that, one fact will be difficult to deny. The Arirang Tour has shifted the way the world views the power of Asian culture. Jungkook, positioned from the beginning as the emotional axis, now stands as living proof of that strategy. He is not promoted as a sole leader, but as the face that is most easily remembered, most frequently discussed, and most readily accepted across cultures. In a world saturated with distractions, the ability to embed oneself in collective memory is the highest form of power. And that is precisely what Bang Si-hyuk has succeeded in building through this tour. When the final stage lights go dark in Hong Kong in March 2027, the world may regard the Arirang Tour as one of the largest tours in music history. But for those who have been reading the signs from the beginning, this tour will be remembered as a turning point. A moment when emotion, strategy, and global identity converged in a sequence of events that appeared simple, yet was rich with meaning. The closing question is no longer solely about BTS or Jungkook. It is far broader and more unsettling. If a strategy designed with such patience and deep cultural understanding can reshape the map of global entertainment power, who will follow in its footsteps? And is the world ready to accept the reality that the center of global cultural gravity no longer points in only one direction? That answer, like the Arirang Tour itself, may only be fully understood after everything has passed. But one thing is already certain. When the world finally realizes what was truly happening behind the scenes, that moment will feel like a shock that arrived too late, and Jungkook will already have become part of history.